Well, I think we've kept you waiting just about long enough, right? Is he here? Is he here? He's here, he's here. Who am I talking about? Well, a man, really, seriously, who needs no introduction whatsoever. If you don't know who this guy is, I don't know where you've been the last 10 or 15 years, all right? Because me, I've been at home listening to me rock records, and there is no better rock guitarist than the man I've got coming on right now. And if you don't believe me, settle back, because he'll be on in a second. Check this out, though. This is just a little reminder of who we're talking about. This is Mr. Jimmy Page and a bit of Dazed and Confused. Woo! Hello, Jimmy Page. How are you?
All right.
OK. Listen, I love that clip. We don't see it very often on the show, but you always look like you're about to curse the audience.
Yeah, maybe it looks like that, but it's not.
No?
I'm usually cursing the guitar.
So, Jimmy, as I'm sure most everybody knows right now, you've got your first solo album.
That's right, yeah.
Just released, called Outrider. I can't believe it's your first solo album. Seems like a hell of a time to...
Yeah, maybe it took a bit of time to pluck up courage for it.
Really?
Yeah.
But is it a move you feel comfortable with now that
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I should have done it before, really.
Really?
Yeah.
What, before the firm, or...?
Well, I don't know, somewhere back down the line, but, you know, time permitting, this is the time that's right, anyway.
Right. A lot of people I know that have heard the album, the first thing they've said is... They say it's a return to form for you. I think probably what they're saying is that perhaps the second firm album, they're a little disappointed.
Possibly.
Do you feel...
I mean, I thought the second firm album was good as the first one, within you know, the framework of who was in it and everything.
Right.
I mean, I suppose this one, I suppose as far as being back to form or whatever, it's certainly just guitar. There's, you know, from my end of it, there's, you know, it's just vocalists, bass drums and various guitars in different shapes and forms. So I suppose if they wanted to hear a guitar album, they should do it.
Absolutely. I tell you what, we're going to talk a little bit more about your new stuff and lots of other things in a minute.
Okay.
But first, let's have a bit of vintage Jimmy Page. This is a band he used to play in a long time ago called Led Zeppelin. You might have heard of them, and this is a track called Black Dog. Bit of Led Zeppelin there, rockers, and a bit of Black Dog. See, that's probably the most famous rock riff in the whole world.
Yeah, maybe.
It's got to be. I tell you, I was in America just a couple of weeks ago, and I was working late through the night and had the radio on just quite softly. It got to about 4:30 in the morning. I wasn't listening to anything that came on. It was just all coming in here and going out there. And suddenly I heard, "Hey, Mum," I said, it's like, whoa! And suddenly you could hear radios being turned up all over.
Yeah, it's great. It's such an arresting start, isn't it? You know, as well, the vocals, yeah.
Can you still actually remember sitting there and writing that?
Well, I remember writing part of it because Jonesy was part of the writing of that riff as well, actually. But, yeah, I remember doing it.
Now, of course, after Zeppelin, of course, there was a period where you didn't do anything for a long time, and then you were re-emerged with The Firm.
Yeah.
Which, I must admit, I thought was going to be one of those bands that did stay around for a lot longer than they did. Encapsulate the whole story of The Firm for me now in a nutshell. What happened there? Was it supposed to be a band that stayed together for much longer?
No. Initially, the idea was to combine talents of myself and Paul Rodgers and do an album and mainly get out on the road and do some touring. Just really one massive tour sort of thing, just to prove we were around and still kicking, you know. But in fact, that spread to a second album and then another tour as well. And neither of us really wanted to get locked into a band tour situation.
Right.
Because, first of all, we had a solo career beforehand, and I was keen to start, you know, trying some of my own ideas out in a solo capacity, you know.
While you were with The Firm, did you consciously, while you're actually on the road and touring and getting involved in the business of being in a new band, were you, obviously a lot of people were making comparisons in their mind between then and Zeppelin days. Were you doing that yourself? Did you find yourself saying, well, this is better than it was in the old days, or this is not as good as it was in the old days? Or?
Well, I guess the fact being that my, you know, guitar was such a predominant input to Zeppelin that nevertheless there's bound to be, you know, there was bound to be comparisons. I know that whatever riffs I wrote, I consciously tried to make them un-Zeppelin, but it's very difficult, you know, or something that I could say, well, that's a bit like what we did before.
Right.
But then again, I've done the same since then anyway, but, I mean, I still come up with riffs because basically I'm a riff guitarist, so...
All right, riff guitarist, that's what we want in this show.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Let's have a few more riffs now. This is The Firm and their very first ever single, and this is Radioactive. The Firm, featuring my friend here today, Mr. Jimmy Page and Radioactive. All right. Now, of course, the firm ended not so long ago, and it seems to me you more or less immediately said, right, that's it, no more bands, I want to do a solo album.
That's right, that's right. Solo album, and then, you know, each album as it comes along after that will be a different project altogether. So different musicians, etc., you know.
Right, because on the album you've got 3 different vocalists. You've got John Miles.
Yeah, I'll tell you why, because I don't sing.
Yeah.
I'm saving everyone, you know, pain, worse than death, you know, if I'm not singing.
You've got John Miles, of course, who we all know from the Alan Parsons Project and Tina Turner's band. He's singing with you.
Yeah.
You've also got Chris Farlow singing with you.
Yeah.
And you also got a new unknown young man called, what's his name?
Yeah, he passed the audition, Robert Plant.
Robert Plant, yeah, he sings on one track.
Yeah.
But you only given him one track, though, eh? What was that like, working with Robert in the studio?
Oh, really good, really good. You know, we've been working together anyway on a few things like the Honey Drippers in the past, and I've done a couple of tracks on his album, and
I noticed.
And he came down and did one on mine, you know.
Is it very different these days when you and Robert actually stand there in the recording studio together and actually working? Is it reminiscent of Zeppelin days, or is it a completely different thing now?
Well, obviously we've got a friendship which goes way, way back, you know, and we've got an affinity together which does. Obviously in the past, the numbers that we did, we'd work from right from the beginning, you know, the initial creation of the ideas and that. So it's not quite like that now.
We mean you don't fight as much, it's more polite.
No, we never used to fight that much.
You can tell me, Jimmy!
We'd be as assertive as necessary. No, it's all right.
What a diplomat. What a nice man and a diplomat.
You mean, do we fight now? We didn't just fight then.
Give me all the dirt while we play a video.
I'll tell you later.
All right. Here's a video you're going to enjoy, seeing our man here in action. This is again the firm, and this is Satisfaction Guaranteed. Yeah! All right! Jimmy Page. Well done, Jimmy. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
It's nice to see a performance video as well, I think, as opposed to this sort of running down corridors with the wind in your hair type of video.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, all the storyboard stuff. Yeah. Well, hopefully the music carries it without a few short skirts and all the rest of it.
Also, you know, funnily enough, I think it's good for people to see the band perform because you've got such a reputation through the years. I think people are still probably surprised that you can even get up and walk around. You've got such a sort of...
Yeah, I know there's been some surprising rumours going around, actually. I just come back from the States and, you know, you walk in the room and people are amazed that you don't come in a wheelchair or something.
Yeah, I know, it's incredible, isn't it?
From the stories I hear, yeah.
Well, I was out with your record company in Los Angeles a few weeks ago, and they weren't calling you Jimmy or Mr. Page, they kept using the word God.
I'll leave it out.
Honestly, I'll tell you, they said, you know, Jimmy is God around here, and I was going, well... You know...
Well, you know how over the top they are over there.
Does it make you feel nervous, though, when you walk in a room and there's probably people in there perhaps you don't know or strangers, and immediately you walk in, you can see them switch into oh my God mode?
Yeah, well, you do your best to relax them if it's like that, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Happens when I walk in a room, you know. It's the same thing. You know? I have to make sure everybody's relaxed in case...
I just walk in a room and go, oh, God, anyway.
All right, now listen, you are going to be touring.
Yeah.
When does the tour actually start?
Well, it starts in America, then it starts in August.
Right.
And goes through to November. Right. And then hopefully we'll do some dates over here, December-ish. Yeah.
Christmas time, eh?
Well, yeah, early part of December.
All right, we're going to talk some more in a minute. This is a video that Jimmy has in fact picked for us. It's an Aerosmith video.
Yeah, this is done by the guy who did our video, and apart from that, I really like Aerosmith, which is what it was by.
Yeah.
And because I think, you know, out of all the bands that come from earlier on, say in the 70s, I think they've come through with their really strong identity without sort of, well, just as Aerosmith, without ripping off other bands, you know.
I'll drink to that. This is Jimmy Page's choice of video. This is Aerosmith, and dude looks like a lady. Jimmy, you picked that Aerosmith video. There's a very famous 70s band that split up at the end of the decade, and then 4 or 5 years later, they came back. Now, of course, the next obvious question is, you were in a very famous 70s band, probably the most famous 70s rock band. Is there any chance of you boys ever doing the unmentionable? Well,
there's no plans to do it at the moment. I mean, the 2 things that we did, Live Aid was a really good reason to be doing, you know, working together with those numbers, and of course the thing at Madison Square Garden, that came up right out of the blue because
the Atlantic Records 40th anniversary.
That's right. And so we did that, and of course it gave Jason a great, you know, opportunity to to show just how well he can play, you know.
Right. Actually, I saw Jason just a couple of days after he got back from New York, and he was still like
I bet.
really high on the whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy yourself while you were out in New York?
Yeah, I got pretty nervous actually on that particular thing, because usually I just get used to pacing myself towards the gig. You know, we were supposed to go on at 12 and we went on at 1:30, and I was like that by then, you know. I think it tells if you've heard it. But it was fun.
All right. Now, listen, we have, of course, got a fantastic competition.
Just by chance.
Just purely by chance. It's funny you should be here. We've actually got one of these to give away. Can you see that? That says Jimmy Page Outrider. And that, my friends, is a lunchbox. In fact, hang 10 there. Hang 10 there, Jeremy. Weird Jeremy's on the camera.
Sandwiched inside.
Sandwiched inside, we have... Yes, we're all going wrong. We have a Jimmy Page interview CD with a very, very famous rock journalist. Can't remember his name. Jimmy Page Outrider cassette. Bit of Jimmy Page bump. Words you can read, can't you, rockers? Of course you can. And a Jimmy Page Outrider interview video cassette. Also done with probably the most famous rock journalist in the world. What is his name, that guy? I don't know. Anyway, we've got one of these to give away. We've also got 2 brand new Jimmy Page albums, Outrider. And all you have to do, if you want to win them, is answer me this incredibly difficult question, as it's the last show. What's the name of the guitar that Mr. Page here is most famously associated with? What's the name of the guitar? And if you think that's not difficult, how's this? What year was it made? Name the year and the make of Jimmy's guitar, which everybody knows, right? Anybody that's worth talking to knows. And you can win one of these. If you want the address, we're running it right over this next video, so we're going to relax, me and Jimmy, while you do a bit of that. And this is Deep Purple, their new video, Hush. Deep Purple. Were you ever a Deep Purple fan at all, Jimmy?
I like some of the stuff they did, yeah.
Yeah. From like the earlier stuff, you mean?
Yeah.
What's
Sorry,
that?
Michael, your time's up. It's a wrap.
Is that a friend of yours?
I don't know. We'll find out later.
I think he means it's the end of the show, Jimmy.
Seems like, yeah.
The end of the last show. We're not sad, though, are we? We don't care. Do
well,
we?
Sort of.
Just a little bit.
I mean, I won't be able to get my share of metal anymore.
I know, and we haven't told anybody yet that this is your favourite rock show, have we?
Sure is, sir. Yeah.
He's serious when he says that.
I am.
Yeah, I'm serious too. Anyway, look, it is all over. It's been very nice of you to come on, Jimmy.
It's been my pleasure.
I'll tell you what, seeing as it's the last show, would you like one of these?
I'd love one.
Well, look, this one's specially for you. It's very heavy indeed, but I know you're a strong man. I'll probably take one of these myself. In fact, I might take 2 because Guy, the floor manager, he loves headstones, so I'll take one for him. There you go, Guy. Right. Especially for you, my old donut. Right, rockers, me and Jimmy, we're off to play with the Stones.
Right.
And we'll see you later.